I actually feel like, as far as the series go, both players like to proxy each other a little bit as far as GSL Season 3 is concerned, but let's get into the game. In the top right here, a player from Splice, the Terran. This is TY. And in the bottom left, hailing from America, this is Ting's Neeb. Like I mentioned, he's never looked better. I was really impressed by his showing in Korea on GSL. And, you know, guys like No Regret and a lot of people that know Neeb very well know that when he practices a lot, when he's really motivated and not burnt out, he is an absolute monster. And what tournament, if any, do you not prep for if it's going to be the global finals? I'm sure that he's put in the hard work. And I really cannot wait to see what he's come up for in this PvT. And likewise for TY, you know, a lot of people have realized that TY, like you mentioned, he likes to proxy a lot in TvP.
Absolutely.
So they're going to be on top of this sort of game. Has TY changed things up? I mean, so far so good for TY. We're just seeing a a gas first into Barracks expand build by the looks of things.
Yeah, even in their last series, Neeb knew he knew pretty much that there was a strong possibility for a lot of proxies. So we always scouted very early to make sure he knew exactly what he was up against. Obviously, it's not as easy as, you just see kind of what's happening, and then you got a big advantage from it, because like I said, TY is so good at aborting and transitioning away from some of these proxies. But in this game so far, everything's looking fairly standard, and that's already a big change from their last series, where again, we had so many of those proxies and unconventional openers.
I completely agree with you. It's just, I'm surprised that neither player has done it. Neeb was proxy gating, sending Immortals out really early against TY in a couple of his games against their series against each other. TY likewise proxying starports and whatnot. It's going to get this probe, but looks like things that Marine. No, it just slips out of there with one hit point and a dream.
Standard.
And all the information. Yeah, oh my God. This is, I mean, I haven't played ladder in a few days because we've been traveling and whatnot, but this is bringing me back to my regular ladder days. It always escapes.
Do you ever get this feeling of deja vu?
Yeah, it's uncanny, uncanny. So we're seeing a reactor go down here with the factory from TY. So we'll see if this is going to be like a Widowmine drop from TY, which is very, very standard with the gas first build, but there is just the one gas being taken, so perhaps not. Could potentially be actually some Hellion pressure here, which a lot of Terrans really love in this matchup.
Neeb is really quite excellent with the Stargate play. He usually goes into 2 Oracles and then pumps out some Phoenixes, up to 4 around that. And he's just so good at defending pretty much anything, doing a lot of scouting with them, which helps him a lot, setting up that third base whenever he wants, but oh, whoa.
Well, there's that starport I was waiting for, and it's going to be across the map here for TY. So those Hellions are looking to probably rendezvous with that medevac and maybe hit the main, while TY either leaves the Marines at home or goes across the natural. It is much better when you're going for something like this to make the Protoss look in one direction while you hit them with the Hellions from somewhere else, but we will see. Bit of a pause here from TY. Something not quite right. Everything has to be perfect here, so no shame in getting that pause out.
TY, this year, not as many people are talking about him because he's not doing as well as last year, where he was... Last year, I think he won like $374,000.
Yeah. A lot of it was in 1 month. He won ESG and IM Katowice in March last year.
This year, he's made 10 times less than that so far. So it's... you almost look at him and you're like, oh, well, he's not doing nearly as well. And like, I guess it's partly true because everybody's talking about Maru, who's really like, the guy that's dominating in the Korean scene these days. But I feel like TY, he's still incredibly good. And if he peaks here at BlizzCon at the right time, he could be one of the guys to make it to the finals or maybe even win the whole thing.
I mean, it feels unfair to call him a dark horse. I actually think that he is like one of those top 3 favorites along with Serral and Maru to take this whole tournament. And a lot of that reason is because, like you mentioned, Maru's the guy that's won all the GSLs. Well, TY is the guy that made him work the hardest for that final. He got him all the way to Game 7. It was very, very close. Maru even says in interviews, I don't want to face TY, and he just said it again with Hajin after he beat Lambo in that best of 3 to start off the day. He was just like, I think TY and Rogue are favorites for this tournament.
It just feels like there's so many favorites this tournament, really.
There are quite a few. I mean,
everybody's talking about Serral and Maru, but
Artosis is talking about SOS.
Usually the guys that did very well throughout the whole season and are the first in points in their region, they don't do well at the global finals a lot of the time. So I don't want to say that obviously Serral and Maru are going to do bad, but hey,
don't break any hearts out there.
Hey, if it keeps going with the trend it's been going in the last few years, we could be seeing these guys maybe not even making the finals. You got somebody like SOS. Last year, remember Rogue, he made the global finals through the super tournament. He picked at the right time. He won the super tournament, then he won the global finals. SOS could be that guy that does that this year. Wow. And then you got guys like TY, who also is extremely strong. Neeb's is in the mix. Just so many good players. Rogue, the defending champion.
And Rogue's actually never looked better than, well, actually, I can't say that. He's been looking a lot better right now than he has been earlier in the year. You know, a lot of people have been sort of writing off Rogue, like, oh, he's not looking as good as the online cups. His performances in GSL just haven't been as impressive as they were. But he has been looking incredible in the tournaments he's playing in the last few weeks. A lot of them have been online, of course, but he's going to, just like last year, come in very, very strong towards the end of the year. And as we know, if history repeats, that means a 2-time championship for Rogue. But a lot of people aren't predicting him. All eyes are, of course, on Serral at the moment, as he is the #1 hope for a lot of people out there, as being able to be the first non-Korean to win the grand final for StarCraft 2. And Serral has been all about making history this year. Actually, you know what? 2018's been an incredible year for finals when I think about it. Like, yeah, Zest Mario wasn't that great. Maybe the IM Katowice grand final wasn't as spectacular as, you know, some of the semifinals were. Like, you know, Mario Rogue was really, really cool. But I feel like a lot of the other finals in WCS as well as in GSL have been pretty incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you can't always get, you know, a 4-3 and very, very close games. Sometimes, you know, it'll be a 4-1 and kind of one-sided games. It's maybe not as entertaining, but it's still, you know, a player really asserting their, I guess, their dominance and how well they did in that very tournament. And in particular in the finals, to be able to deliver so well is definitely something that can be appreciated as well. But yeah, going into this series, like, obviously, they played in a best-of-7 recently in the GSL. It was 4-2 in TY's favor, who historically has never lost to Neeb. He's 4-0. So
yeah,
he's definitely been one of the guys that's given Neeb trouble. But like you said, it's the global finals. If there is ever a time to play more than ever and train for specific opponents, it will be right now. And hopefully Neeb has done just that. And he's got some good stuff in mind here to use, even though obviously, you know, Neeb, he won't necessarily go that crazy with his build orders. Sometimes if he sees that he can get an easier defense against a certain proxy, you'll see him all-inning. He did have some nice builds actually in the GSL series. There was this build that he did with the proxied Stargates, and really went for it. He proxied a Robo at some point and attacked with a lot of gateways. With he proxied the gateway in the middle
the gateway
of
for the fast warp in,
and then
he did it on
pressured with Stalkers and then finished it with the War Prism and an Immortal. That was really cool to see stuff like that, and just micro-wise and reaction and everything mechanically. These players these days, I feel, are so sound. Like, so much of what they do is so impressive. Even in the GSL series, Autosys was losing his mind at the one of them that sneaked past all the Widow Mines and just sniped one of them that was like out of position just for 1 second. Yeah. I really feel like they've gotten so good at all of this.
Neeb, when you go for stuff like that against someone like TY, it just showed that very clearly Neeb had prepared very well for TY. And I'm sure, like, he has 2 of the scariest Terrans, if not the 2 scariest Terrans in the whole world in his group. They're both right there. And only 2 people get to go through, and most people are saying Maro and TY are going to be it. The dream is alive, I feel, for, you know, Lambo and Neeb if they have prepared. You know, obviously things have started off rough for Lambo. We're only minutes into game 1 here for Neeb and TY. But if they can prepare, if they've had that preparation and they have just a little bit of confidence, then you could be seeing some magic happen here. Yeah. But of course, we cannot sugarcoat this. TY is heavily favored, as if you look at the numbers. He is, even in just TvP in general, it is a matchup that he's not generally had problems with, even in Korea. So,
and because they had the series in GSL that they played not so long ago, there is also, you know, that whole meta game. Like, when they went in deeper into the game, you know, in the later stages, 3-4 bases, it was really a dynamic where Neeb, he wasn't doing any, you know, stuff like War Prisms anymore, being War Prisms across the map, because he needed to make sure he had enough back at home to defend if he was going to be attacked. And almost every time that he moved out, TY was ready to counter drop with 4 or 5 medivacs, and then he forced back a recall. So in the games that Neeb had success in, he was able to usually defend well in the first place, build up a big army, go across the map, maybe snipe the 4th base of TY, and then recall back home and defend against those medivacs. So there's that whole dynamic. As soon as we start heading into, you know, the high supply games from 150 plus and many bases, which I'm a big fan of, and I do hope that we'll see there where they both know exactly what to expect from one another.
You've brought back memories of that time when TY and Neeb had a draw in their series.
Yeah.
And that one recall to rule them all. Well, it looks like I'd have to go for a bit of a break here. So when we come back, the game will resume, guys. Do not go away. TY versus Neeb, game 1, coming at you soon. See you then.
The 2018 StarCraft 2 World Championship Series Global Finals are brought to you in part by Republic of Gamers, Corsair, T-Mobile, Samsung SSD, and NVIDIA.
누구나 인생에서 결정적인 한순간이 있기 마련입니다. 저의 경우에는 이모가 스타크래프트 CD를 줬을 때입니다. 그날부터 저의 꿈이 시작되었고 저의 시련도 시작되었습니다. 맨 처음에는 그냥 아무것도 모르고 컴퓨터랑 했었던 것 같아요. 또 엄마가 그래도 제가 공부를 하는 걸 너무 원했어가지고 엄마가 반대를 많이 하셔서 제가 뭐 의사가 되기를 바라셨는데 솔직히 의사가 제가 의사를 어떻게 됩니까? 그래서 그냥 게이머 제가 잘하는 걸 하고 싶었어요. 저는 학원 또 보충 수업 간다고 하고 거짓말 치고 하루 종일 아침에 가서 친구랑 저녁까지 PC방에서 게임만 하다가 엄마가 만약 이거 보면 지금 아실 텐데 그런 적이 되게 많았었어요.
지금까지 여러분들 인생 중에서 가장 중요한 순간?
프로게이머가 될 수 있는 상황이 되었을 때 아무래도 제동이 형이 있는 화생호즈를 너무 가고 싶었어요. 제동이 형을 팬으로서 너무 좋아했었던 것 같아요. 외모도 되게 잘생겼었고 또 너무 잘했어가지고 드래프트 되기 전에 전화가 와가지고 저 화생호즈에 뽑는다고 미리 말씀해 주셔서 목표를 이뤘다 생각해서 너무 행복했었던 것 같아요. 그 다음 날에 새벽 6시에 다 나와가지고 오리걸음을 했었던 게 저는 숙소 생활을 하지도 않았는데 그냥 가기 전에 갑자기 아침 새벽 6시부터 오리걸음을 했어가지고 이게 너무 군대 같아가지고
막내였어요. 팀에서 가장 나이도 어리고 막내였기 때문에 그 당시에만 하더라도 이제 연습생이 굉장히 힘들었었던 팀이었는데
스타도 저보다 잘하는 선수들이 너무 많고 이게 아예 못 이기겠어가지고 너무 그때 자면서 자기 전에 저희 팀원 그 연습생들끼리 왜 프로게이머 왜 했지라고 되게 많이 서로 후회를 되게 많이 했던 것 같아요. 지금 생각해보면 너무 숙생활 하는데 너무 나서지 말고 뭔가 도우기처럼 조용조용하게 수생활을 했어야 되는데
근데 저도 조금 힘들었는데 병렬이 얼마나 힘들었을까 좀 이해가 가기도 해요. 조금 그래도 병렬이가 좀 이미지가 좀 귀엽고 편한 동생 그런 느낌이었어가지고 형들이랑 뭐 코칭 스태프나 뭐 다 편하게 시켰던 것 같아요.
갈굼도 많이 당하고 그랬는데 제가 왜 게임을 한다고 했을까라는 거에 대해서 좀 후회를 그때는 정말 많이 했고 부모님한테 전화해서 그만둔다고 했었는데 한상용 감독님이 항상 하시는 말씀이 있는데 피할 수 없으면 즐겨라라고 맨날 말씀하셔가지고 저도 그렇게 피할 수 없으면 즐겨야겠다라고는 생각을 했는데 그게 말처럼 쉽지는 않더라고요. 그래도 이제 하려고 다시 마음을 잡았었던 것 같아요. 지네어 팀에서 있을 때 스타크래프트 2가 나오고부터 반전이 된 것 같고 확실히 화승 때보다는 숙소 생활도 훨씬 편했어가지고 엄청 열심히 했었고 다들 열심히 했고 유진이 형을 보면서 이제 아 나도 저렇게 되고 싶다라고도 생각 많이 했었던 것 같아요. 성주가 좀 어린 데 비해서 재능이 좀 많았어서 좀 부러웠고 도우기도 그때 새벽 5시까지 하고 자기 전에 VOD 보고 자고 그런 열정을 저도 봐가지고 주변에서 그렇게 열심히 하니까 저도 더 열심히 그 사람들한테 지기 싫어서 더 열심히 했었던 것 같아요 그때는.
일단 병렬이는 재능은 확실히 없진 않다고 생각을 해요. 재능이 없진 않은데 그래도 노력파에 가까운 그런 선수라고 저는 보고 있어요.
쉬고 있으면 너무 조급해져서 그때는 쉬지도 않고 연습을 많이 했었던 것 같아요. 가족을 위해서 열심히 해야겠다라는 거 그냥 이런 식으로 생각을 했었던 것 같아요. 블리즈컨 우승이 제 목표였고 목표가 있었기 때문에 목표를 꼭 이루고 싶어서 열심히 했었던 것 같아요.
Getting closer and closer to getting towards the remain. The lurkers now being gunned down. There's too much. There's too many. There's no stopping Rogue now. Rogue going up into the natural here, killing off one of the last areas of Sue. GG! He has done it. Rogue is your 2017 WCS World Champion.
블리즈컨 우승이 지금까지 제 인생 최고의 순간인 것 같아요. 환호를 되게 많이 해주셔서 그때도 뭔가 뿌듯했던 것 같아요. 인기 스타가 된 기분이었던 것 같아요. 태어나서 한 번도 그렇게 많은 분들이 환호해주는 걸 느껴본 적이 없었는데 제가 지금까지 고생했던 거를 다 싹 다 잊어버릴 정도로 너무 행복했던 순간인 것 같아요. 블리즈컨 우승이.
결국에 우승할 사람이 우승한다고 생각하거든요, 저는. 네.
프로게이머를 제가 지금은 너무 자랑스럽고 스스로가 너무 자랑스럽고 너무 선택을 되게 잘했다고 생각하고 있어요, 지금은. 옛날에는 그래도 후회를 되게 많이 했지만 지금 생각해보면 그래도 이모 덕분에 스타크래프트를 접하게 되었고 또 스타크래프트 게이머가 되었기 때문에 이모한테 스타크래프트 CD를 받게 된 게 지금은 너무너무 고맙고 너무 감사드려요. 저의 이름은 이병렬이고 저는 스타크래프트2 프로게이머입니다.
G'day guys, welcome back to the first series, the first game between TY and Neeb. That's a wonderful little WCS signature series from Rogue. Which one's been your favorite, Todd?
Rogue's been pretty good, I think. Even though that child actor doesn't really look like it's a pretty cool story. I love how a lot of these pro gamers, you know, like sometimes it's kind of hard to get like necessarily like the biggest statements out of them, but he says very clearly, this winning BlizzCon has been the best moment of my life, and I feel like I can kind of relate, you know, like I used to compete myself in like
of course,
tournaments a lifetime ago. I really feel like winning something like the WCS Global Finals is something that you're going to remember for your whole life, that you're going to be telling your kids about. And there are moments right here and right now to try and write StarCraft history and their history.
Without a doubt, history will be written at this event. I can feel it. TY versus Neeb Game 1 about to resume here, guys. You saw our faces earlier, and you know those faces are faces you can trust. We believe that Game 1 will resume. I've got my fingers crossed off camera right now just to make sure I don't look like a complete fool to everyone back at home. And there we go, we're back. Straight into the action as this Adept faces 3 Marines. With good micro, TY can just keep all 3 alive, and he does.
Yeah.
Neeb going to cancel that Shade, bring that Adept back home, but this Starport is still, unbeknownst to Neeb, churning away at that medevac here. Those Hellions need to go out to meet it shortly enough.
Yeah, and remember, like, in the past, TY has done this kind of stuff a lot, so I expect Neeb to be somewhat a minimum aware. Like, we see he has a pylon on the bottom right of his main base to kind of try and spot this a little bit earlier than otherwise. He's gonna need units in position, and we've seen, actually in the previous series, when Maru was playing, we saw Hellions just being absolute devils, going around all around the place, dying as late as they could and killing as many drones as they could before finally dying. We can expect the same thing here from TY.
Well,
to try and kill as many of these workers as he can. Oracle,
luckily this Oracle's just popped, so he can actually burn down at least one of these Hellions. These two are going to get a couple probe kills. TY picks up and leaves, and so far the hold from Neeb is actually quite nice. Getting a Hellion, only losing 2 probes so far, quite good. And this other Oracle comes home, so, I mean, the one thing TY's got here is he's got a couple probe kills, and the Oracles are using energy back at home to defend rather than being across the map hurting his SCVs or cutting into his Marine count. So that kind of sucks, but he's got a Viking out here, but that's a long float back for this Viking. For a jet plane, that's quite slow.
Yeah, for sure. And this is really awkward now as well for TY because he's got a starport across the map. What is he supposed to do? Get a reactor and pump out medivacs? If Neeb heads there and kills this, then he has no starport. So does he remake one at home? Usually TY, sometimes he will rely on a lot of Marines and tanks to push, and in this case, he's even adding Liberators, so I think he's going to do a very strong 2-base push here in a moment. And for Neeb to be able to defend this, he needs to make the right choices. He needs to add a lot of gateways. He started the 3rd Nexus already a while back, which I think TY is counting on as well. A lot of damage being dealt across the map.
And TY's not coming home either. He's going to have to either use reinforcements or wait for that Viking to get back, but meanwhile, he's bleeding out SCVs here, Todd. This attack from TY is going to have to do a lot of damage. At least the Widowmine here picks off one of those Oracles, but one still standing with plenty of energy for this Pulsar Beam.
Wow.
14 worker kills and counting as Neeb racks up the murders. That's certainly not nothing as a veteran of what is nothing and not nothing. This attack has no stim, no combat shield, no upgrades whatsoever for these Marines, and he needs to kill this 3rd Nexus and then some.
And Neeb can just wait for as long as he wants to here. Maybe let that Nexus take a little bit more damage. He feels like he already has enough, and he might just...
Wow. That actually got completely wrecked by Neeb. He's having a beautiful start to this game. That proxy tech from TY not getting him any edge.
And now we have 49 walkers to 30.
Big difference in resources lost here between the two players.
And
a little bit more lost for gas.
I love this. Against a low econ Terran, he might just be able to swarm him with charge lots.
Or a Depths in this case, as Resonant Enclaves is on the way.
Oh, he cancelled.
Yeah. I mean, either or.
Both are really good. I think just Blink would be maybe the worst choice here. But maybe even Blink might work from this position, because he's already got 3 bases anyway,
well,
so...
A lot of Protosses in this matchup are loving going for Disruptors. And if you're going for charge lots, it becomes a little bit sticky. So if Neeb's plan is to get into Disruptors a little bit later to have a bit of a better time,
he might just
having range units is a bit nicer.
Honestly, if he gets the Prism here, and then there you go. There it is. Prism in production, just go for an attack. He's just gonna have so much more with his production. Like, there is no additional barracks yet for TY.
No, and no 3rd base. Like, TY is going to have to be powering on 2 bases for a really long time. He's going to have to take like 1 or 2 really good fights, TY does, to be able to actually even things out in this game. Neeb is ahead in pretty much every single regard here. When +1 armor finishes, his Adept's going to be a lot tankier against that Marine Ball. The Widowmines will have to connect really, really nicely.
Yeah.
TY does not have a good tank count. Or actually, I'm not sure if he has any tanks at the moment. He's just got the 1. That's really not that convincing against a big swarm of Adepts.
Neeb's map awareness has been incredible. Like, obviously, he didn't see the proxy at the bottom, but that pylon that spotted it was huge. And look, he even made a pylon on the top left-hand side now to see any kind of drop coming from this angle. Like, this is a lot of small details that will help him a lot against the potential drops that you know are always going to be such a huge threat from TY, who barely misses this warp in here and is moving out. So these Adepts here with Resonating Glaives, if Neeb drops this 4 and then does a huge warp in, it's going to be really tough for TY to be able to defend properly back at home.
Just like the Oracles hitting TY when he was out in the middle of the map, these Adepts are going to hit TY with him not having a whole lot at home. He is going to go for the Warp in because there's just not enough Marines to pick off that Warp Prism, so Neeb's about to do a ton more damage here, Todd. And he's too far across the map again, hitting that 3rd Nexus of Neeb. But Neeb already has some Adepts in the defense. I don't know if he should finish that Shade, though. He cancels.
Yeah, Neeb with almost double the worker supply of TY here. TY might need to win the game with a push across the map. He's getting engaged in the force fields as well.
Lovely force fields here from Neeb. Those Immortals at the back completely untouched. He crushes the mech units, and all that's left is a bio, and GG taps out of a TY. Neeb, the American Protoss, taking game 1, and very convincingly, I have to add there, Neeb playing brilliantly against one of the best players in the whole world.
The defense was fantastic against the Hellion drops. He was ready with the Oracle, and then from there, it was just smooth sailing, really. Went across the map with the Oracles. TY was just not ready.
Yeah,
very surprising actually, because he knew about the Oracles, right? He was across the map with the Hellions, but he didn't get the proper defense ready in time back at home.
It was really confusing. You know, I didn't really bring it up, but when those Oracles came back for the defense, TY obviously knew that there was double Oracle out. and one of them had a fair bit of juice on it. You can see that, you know, with the health bars up. So it was weird that he didn't actually have any Oracle defense at all. You know, I don't even know if he had an engineering bay at that point. So you kind of have to have your Marine sitting at home. But TY was really gung-ho about hitting that timing attack on the third Nexus and absolutely got punished for it.
What a great way to start the tournament here for Neeb.
Yeah.
Very, very solid. This is kind of what we know from him, but he's facing somebody that he's 0-4 against. You know, it can be really tough. Sometimes you get a little bit of a mental block and you think like it's going to be extremely hard against someone. Maybe you don't play as well, but that wasn't the case here at all for Neeb. Just played his absolute best, and that was definitely good enough. He didn't like rush anything either. You know, I was mentioning like maybe he could go for an attack with low units. He's like, yeah, you know what? He'll probably move out around this time, so I'll just send in some adepts, warp in more, and in the meantime, I'll go for Blink. And then he was probably going to go into the disruptors that you talked about, with which so many Protosses actually have been starting to do really well.
It was very, very tough to look at what TY had on the paper after that failed attack on the third Nexus and see him holding the counterattack from Neeb. I mean, you know, I'm sure that Neeb and a lot of Protosses in this tournament are going to want to get disruptors against Terran because they have been so strong in the meta. But Neeb knew that the game was all his as long as he didn't throw it away after that hold of that third Nexus. He just had every single advantage. The third Nexus not even getting down. He only lost a couple probes to the Hellion.
This almost felt too easy.
It did. Like Neeb didn't do anything crazy. He just played a regular PvT. TY was the one that tried like a little bit of a proxy, which isn't too insane, just a proxy medevac. And just standard great StarCraft from Neeb won him the match. But will it win him the series? Let's get into game 2 and see how things shake up here. And the top left currently down 1 in the series. This is Splice's TY. And in the bottom right, hailing from America, the red Protoss. This is Ting's Neeb.
And again, going for the very early scout, right after Pylon.
I don't know if this is a scouting SCV from TY. This one's a little suspect here, Tom.
Yeah. No, but Neeb, in this case, is scouting extremely early, and I think that's why he wants to know whether there is a proxy or not. Being able,
I feel like
sometimes, you know, you scout the Terran base and you know that there's a proxy, but you don't know like exactly what it is and where it is. Being able to see exactly what and where it is, you're going to be able to defend a lot more easily against it.
I'm a little, you know, I'm a big fan of TY, and I'm almost disappointed to see that it's exactly the same TY as we've seen in the last couple of... Because it's so easy to see those VODs as someone like Neeb who prepares very, very well for tournaments to have all this information. I mean, he literally is in one of the VODs of playing against this guy, and he's still doing almost the exact mirror proxy of what he did against Neeb and Acid Plant, like just going for that proxy.
Yeah.
The other spot, except TY was in the bottom right at that time. It's just, yeah, it's I mean, obviously, he can turn it into the longer game, and it could potentially do a lot of damage. It's just, you know, clearly in the series so far from TY, he has not shaken things up that much. And Neeb just instantly sees that there's no barracks inside the
he's going for a Ghost Academy.
This is actually, I was going to say this is different. This is not different, but it absolutely is. This is very, very weird from TY.
Yeah, it's, I mean, couldn't Neeb ever expect this? If Neeb sees this, this is like basically almost over, but could he suspect and look for it?
An early Ghost. This is inspired. I've changed my mind. This is incredible. There is nothing that the Protoss has in the early stages of the game that is actually very, very good against the Ghost. You know, the Snipes will one-shot a Zealot, they'll one-shot a Stalker. They are just great on a move in general against a probe line. So let's see how this one turns out for TY. And Neeb's still wondering, what's the proxy? Where's he at? There's that first pylon from Neeb, and he's going to see it.
Oh my God. And he sees it as the first Ghost starts. So now, yeah, he's just going to start working on that barracks here. Obviously, as the Ghost comes out, he's going to have a personal cloaking, so that could be a problem. But he already has the Stargate on the way, so all he has to do is Chrono Boost and Oracle to try and detect that properly.
There's not going to be any cloak for this Ghost. That's the issue here. And if the Ghost takes damage, Snipe gets interrupted as well. So I am a little concerned here for TY's rush. EMP on the probes, and he's trying to shoot them down. He's going to get several of them here. Down goes the Ghost, though. The Ghost is quite expensive, so...
4 probes.
Yeah, 4 probes, but as the, you know, Ghosts take a while to build, and as they, you know, as more and more come out, Neeb gets more and more units, and just like that, this is shut down. Losing 4 probes for Neeb is actually completely fine in this situation.
Yeah.
TY's been really slowed down by this rush.
But he doesn't have a Nexus, though.
That is true.
That's the big win, I think, for TY.
That is true.
If Neeb had a Nexus now, I would say, like, this is really bad for TY, because his command center only starts now, but he forced him to stay on one base Now the problem might be the Oracle, but when I see a Cyclone on the way, I think it might be fine, even though like this. Oh, there's a Widow Mine.
Yep. So he made a Widow Mine first, went into the Cyclone after that. So certainly he's very defended against this Oracle.
Neeb's moving across the map with the Stalkers.
Yeah, this is actually, I would even say the Gateway units are slightly more scarier here than the Oracle as a Terran player. Like, it's just the Oracle with Widow Mine and Cyclone not too worried about. I honestly think that that TY should be fine here, even if the Oracles do commit. So the Stalkers do commit. Well, thanks for that revelation.
I like this actually.
Yeah, I mean,
I thought he was going to commit to the mineral line and the Stalkers on the ramp, but no, he can just shoot at this depot.
Certainly can repair that. Cyclone as well. So like I said, Cyclone's not too bad against the Stalkers, and then it's smaller number when they have the repairs as well. And there's about to be 2 Cyclones, and certainly is not afraid of this 2 Stalkers once that second Cyclone comes out.
Did Neeb spot the Ghost Academy? I saw.
Well,
he had the Phoenix over there.
Yeah,
he barely missed it.
No.
Not the biggest deal, but I guess if you can take it out with 1 Zealot or something, it's better than leaving it out there.
Widowmine gets that Oracle, debated into that SCV line, losing 2 SCVs, but TY still, with that second CC, like we mentioned, isn't that far behind now. As long as that CC gets on location, starts to mule it up. Neeb, on the back of this, did get his Nexus back at home, so things are going to even out a little bit for both players, and it gets a little bit longer.
Those SCVs lost a bunch of hit points, though.
Nice lift here, and the SCVs aren't for the repair, so 1 Cyclone nearly gets down. There it is.
Yeah, those SCVs are the injured ones as well. So they get sniped even quicker. But yeah, if Neeb eventually sneaks a War Prism into the main base of TY there, it could do a lot of damage to the injured SCVs and kill them much faster.
It is a little risky to do this from TY. He's going for a Cloak, Banshee, and he knows it's Stargate play from Neeb. You know, this.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah, like the Oracles just need to be in position to be able to put Revelation on the Banshee, and then the Phoenix makes sure that it never lives to go home. So this is a little risky from TY, but sometimes it can be good as well. Everything does need to be in position for the Protoss for the Banshee to be defended.
And Neeb already starts the 3rd Nexus, by the way. Like this puts so much pressure on TY to do something about it, because if you don't, then the production just gets out of control from the Protoss.
Yeah. TY is actually, you know, he's getting his 3rd CC here, so he's looking to play the longer game, not going to go for a big timing attack like he did before, but this unit composition, this strategy from TY, seems on paper like it's not going to be very effective against what Neeb's shown him here. Like a lot of Phoenixes, there's already Oracles still out on the map, I believe. I think there's still 1 Oracle left.
Yeah, the harass, by the way, from Neeb has been incredible. Like, he faked that he was going to head into the main base, went back on the natural, the Widow Mine was revealed, picked it up. Just brilliant. Can we see the unit's lost tab? Yeah, that's not too bad. So I see actually SCV is dying right now. He's adding some more to that.
He gets one of these Phoenixes.
Yeah. But those Phoenixes then now are not in position. Where's the Oracle? Is it ready for the Banshee?
It's near the natural here. So
it's like almost as if he expects it, even though I don't think he saw the starport with TechLab.
Potentially not. He sees
he saw the starport,
but not the TechLab.
That's enough for Neeb to know. He knows.
Yeah, he knows, and there's that robotics bay going down, or as I like to call it, the disruptor dead. There's going to be some big balls of fire coming out for the Protoss shortly enough, I'm sure. The Banshee's coming into the natural. The Oracle has been moved out of position, so nice move from TY. He's going to get some probe kills here.
Yeah, let's see the Oracle fly back and get the tag here in a second. For that Banshee, like it's really a suicide mission here. It's about how many probes can you get. The Cyclones actually, you're gonna get that Nexus.
And if they hit that stasis ward, Neeb could potentially punish picking all these units.
Ooh, if he had picked up immediately, might have been able to save it.
Oh, another Banshee coming into the natural once again. And this Oracle actually doesn't have enough energy for a Revelation.
There's an Observer.
It was easy peasy, no problem then. Does lose quite a few probes, and the 3rd Nexus getting killed is actually quite huge. TY has a 3rd base back at home.
Yeah, I'm guessing Neeb will restart that momentarily, and with what we saw last game with the Glaives and how well it is, he might just do the same thing. Just grab the War Prism, wait for TY to move out, and then just do a big adept warp in across the map. Don't let him get away.
Oh, no way.
He's too dangerous.
Oh my god. Oh. Stalker's not fun.
Phoenix is across the map, flying in again. Finding any damage that he can.
Yeah, getting these SCVs is quite nice, but as we can see, TY is ahead on the workers, is now that 3rd CC.
He cancelled Glaives?
An orbital. He did, got charged instead.
Wow.
All right. Switching things up and making 7 gateways. Neeb not looking to play the longer game anymore. He wants to finish off TY. Look at that gateway explosion with the, or how you call it, l'explosion?
Okay, but like if you tell me to look at something, like it's a little bit misleading, so just let's be careful with those look at.
No, we're not.
The supply is all I see down there.
Yeah, I know. Todd actually just looks at the bottom.
Right now,
the bottom
TY
few
is doing
lines
pretty well.
Yeah. As far as Todd's concerned, he's winning this game. We got these 3 Phoenixes coming up and picking up that Marine, so TY knows the positioning of the air army here. And he's got a pretty locked down natural. It's looking quite comfortable for TY at the moment, and that Ghost Academy is going to get finished off, so...
He's killing the Ghost Academy and he's going for a Templar Archives.
Yeah,
this is brilliant.
It's smart.
He's going to have a lot of gas as well, Neeb, because he's been on 4 gases for a long time, so, and he could even take the ones on his 3rd base very, very quickly too, because that Nexus is almost done. So if he... I wonder, does he go into Archons and do an attack, or Storm? I think Storm might be better here. If he reaches Storm and a bunch of High Templars...
Another Banshee got 7 probes there.
7, actually, wow.
Pretty good. And we got this tag on the army of TY. I kind of like this, actually, getting a turret and already is starting up like a little bit of a wall in, just in case there is a big attack from Neeb. He has a lot of gateways, so it's definitely very, very possible. This Raven in TY's army is fantastic. Going to be able to pick off this Observer, no problem. So, I mean, you brought up a really good point with the Ghost Academy going down and Templar Archives going down. Neeb might actually just be able to have a big compositional advantage. Like, as a Terran, if you're dealing with Storm and Archons and you don't have EMPs, it is very, very dicey, especially against the Protoss that's as good as Neeb.
And he's going for Archons, yeah, not going for High Templars here. It's very interesting. Doesn't want to play the longer game for now. He wants to try and inflict some damage on TY. Kind of catch him off guard. Obviously, Archons is very hard to deal with without Ghost. But TY's kiting is usually going to be really good.
I'm going to ask you to look at it though, Todd. There is a lot of army supply here. For
83 to 68.
Yeah, he has
Plus
that,
2 ground armor about to finish. He's going to engage just before.
But there's that Armor Shredder missile here from the Raven. Armor Seeker getting a lot of the armor taken off these Zealots, which benefit the most from that armor upgrade. So all of a sudden, armor not meaning a whole lot here. TY with a lot of bio just cutting through this Protoss force here. The CC getting lifted, SCV's coming up the line. Big warp in from Neeb though. If he can get those new charge slots in the front of the battle, he could potentially break through this.
Oh wow, they're running backwards here for a second. A lot of these Zealots weren't fighting the army as they needed to be. Just like kind of like the E-Bottle attacking the command center, and now Neeb just doesn't have enough.
Yeah, he made so many gateways. You could see that he wanted to go for a big gateway attack, that 3rd Nexus there, almost like a feint, like, you know, how I'm going to try and recover economically, but no, he made so many gateways, really wanted to put on that pressure and try and finish off TY, and as we can see, he didn't really have a plan B after that. So we're going to a tight series, 1-1 to a deciding match.
The Banshee didn't win it, but the Banshee actually kind of did, because it pulled the army away of Neeb, and the Cyclones then won it by killing the 3rd Nexus. I think that puts TY just so far ahead. To be on 2 bases against 2 bases for this long amount of time, and then he made the proper barracks to just keep on producing units. He was very well set up defensively, 2 tanks, a Widowmine, the Raven as well.
Yeah, the Raven
made sure the Warp Prism couldn't warp in anything.
I mean, think about it, like if you're dealing with +2 armor Zealots, and you don't have that Armor Seeker missile connecting with all of them, then things are actually a lot harder for TY to hold. Like, he didn't have that many units left over in the end there when he held on against Neeb, so it was a very, very good addition, that Raven. And of course, you know, the added benefit of being able to pick off observers and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, I agree with you. The Banshee did end up doing damage. I feel like the Ghost Rush wasn't as much damage as TY wanted.
Yeah.
I would argue that the proxy actually didn't work out for him at all. I would say that the proxies for general in TY in the series have been working out for him, but that regular quote-unquote TvP from TY as we went into the mid-game onwards is the TY of old that I'm used to seeing, and no surprises to see him do so well.
I think Neeb would have had a much better chance if he sent the Prism into the main base and then waited until he had a big Zealot warp in there and then attack the 3rd base. But obviously it's easy to see because we see the whole map. You know, imagine if he did that and then TY was ready in the main base and ready on the 3rd base with like a good army split, then that would have gone horrible for Neeb as well. So,
also, if you guys at home that may not realize this, players have got their race lights on them. Terrans are in blue, the Protosses are in yellow, Zergs are in purple. Very nice touch there from Blizzard Entertainment. The top right here, representing Splice, winning game 2. This is TY! And the bottom left, can he close this out? This is Ting's Neeb!
Actually, you asked me earlier what was my favorite signature series. I think Special. Special was amazing.
It's hard for me to actually answer that question as well when I think about it, because as the signature series came out, I'm like, oh man, Maru is so awesome, I want Maru to win. And then Specials came out, and I'm like, you know what, Special's awesome.
Every time one comes out, that's your new favorite player.
I want that guy to win the tournament. Once again, TY trying for a proxy here, or actually it's more like a Macarax, just fighting the first barracks, making the Protoss overreact to a proxy that's not actually a proxy. It's something a little bit weird. He is getting the double gases, so he's going to go for a very fast factory.
Yeah, we saw Neeb not expand earlier when he was like really worried about what was coming. So if TY was able to sell this properly to Neeb, who then would really delay his expansion, that could be really good for TY if he makes, say, the command center on the high ground on his side of the map.
This time, Neeb's actually sending out a second probe here.
He knows.
Yeah, he's gonna look to potentially put something across the map, and oh no, he's bringing it home. A little bit of indecisiveness here from Neeb.
Oh, he's sending it back now again. Yeah. No, he's sending it home again.
Sending it home, sending it back, hitting from the north and south. Should go home. In the end, Neeb is gonna pull it back.
That probe needs to make up its mind.
He sees that extra SCV down here by the natural, and as he's seen that barracks, yep, sees the factory as well. So Neeb knows that it's like a bit of a one-base opener, similar to TvT, where you get that gas a little bit earlier and you get a faster factory instead of getting a faster command center. But TY not with full gas saturation here. You can see that TY does intend to expand at some point here. Don't lose that SCV.
Oh, wow. Gets
Uh-oh.
out of here. The Reaper will make sure that the probe does not live to tell the story.
Yeah.
As we have his targets starting again here from Neeb, who's not made a Nexus yet, but might be about to.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting towards that sort of mineral bank where you want to get that that expansion. Similar for TY, he's going to expand behind this reacted, looks like potentially a Hellion opening, or just, okay, he's going to go straight into Cyclones and get some Marines out, fair enough. So having a bit of a ground force here from TY, and just going to expand behind it. So this is a relatively regular opening with just both players teching up a little faster.
Yeah. You know what's crazy here? Whoever wins here, like obviously it's very good, right? They only have to win one more match and then they're through to the round of 8, but they have to face Maru.
Yeah, congratulations, well played. Your reward is Maru.
And like whoever loses has to face Lambo as well, who's, I think, like, we shouldn't look past Lambo. Obviously, he had a very tough matchup against Maru in round 1, but
yeah,
it's not out of it just yet.
It's, you know, there's a bigger list of players that I would say are favored against Maru than against Lambo than Maru, but you know, I've seen magic happen before. Wouldn't be the craziest thing in the whole world. I remember Raynor actually making Maru work pretty hard over in Korea in their series against each other. Now,
Cyclone in patrol here back at home, as the Oracle will start heading there. You know, I'm always so amazed when I look at these Oracles going across the map, and like I'd be so worried there's Widow Mines everywhere, but somehow nowadays Protosses, they read the game so well that they always kind of know where to fly and when not to go. We almost never see, you know, an Oracle straight up flying to a Widow Mine anymore, ever. They just kind of fly on the outskirts of the Terran base, kind of keep them scaled back at home.
Except twice in the series where Neeb lost 2 Oracles to Widow Mines.
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
Except for that time, yeah.
But it feels like in the last game, he kind of suicided it on purpose.
Yeah. Well, we have a second Oracle here from Neeb, and he's going up to triple. No, it's a lot of Oracles. This is actually something that I feel like, you know, Classic and even Stats have done a couple times against Terrans. Just a very, very strong thing. Oh my god, a boys pull here from TY. He's trying to keep the SCVs at the back line here, not be scouted by the Oracles. Now he sees this big Cyclone move out.
Yeah, he needs to start shield batteries back at home here. There's some Phoenixes on the way.
Yeah, he starts one, but I'm not sure if this is enough, Todd. This is a very dedicated attack from TY.
Yeah, if Neeb can hold this convincingly, he's going to be in very good shape to win this series, but his attack is looking very scary with that many Cyclones and all the SCVs coming in behind as well. And the shield battery is not ready.
No, but the Phoenix actually is going to be very helpful for Neeb. If he can get those lifts on the Cyclones and force them to lock onto things in the air rather than hit things on the ground. The Cyclone's locked onto something on the air, it's not shooting those ground units. And here come the Oracles. He gets a few lock-ons here, and the probes are trying to go for the surround. One Cyclone gets taken out, the other one gets lifted here. Some of the SCVs are not on repair duty. They need to get in here.
Oh,
Widowmine burrows, making things a little bit trickier for Neeb, but it can also splash damage his own stuff. Nice micro from TY on burrowing that Widowmine.
And also not blowing up his own units, because that almost happened.
Almost. One Oracle goes down, and still charges available on these Widow Mines, ready to fire, and he's repairing these 3 Cyclones. He's only lost 1 so far. Rallying here is TY, really committing to this pressure.
It's going to be so tricky now as well for Neeb to defend against all of these Widow Mines. There's 4 of them. Maybe he needs to shade in, try and trigger some friendly fire, but
He gets that at depth there, but at least 1 less Widow Mine to worry about for now. TY keeping the unburrow micro on point here. Those probes from Neeb trying to bait them out, but TY's micro too good. He's in range of that Nexus. He's just going to sit there and fire on it, forcing Neeb to react here. He does not want to lose that Nexus.
It's dying so fast. He needs to send some probes in or something. Like, he needs to defend now, because that Nexus, if it goes down here, Neeb will be in a lot of trouble. Barely ahead in Walkers right now.
Ooh. Well, only 2 Cyclones remaining here from TY, and it looks like he feels like he can't actually get the job done here, so he has to pull back.
Oh my god.
Gets one of those Stalkers there, the other one very low on hit points. And actually with the Oracle and the Phoenix is still being left alive, I feel like he might be able to pressure these Cyclones, but TY covering their escape with these Widow Mines. Both players playing so well here, but it's a very dicey situation at the moment. TY does not have much army at home to hold a big counterattack.
Yeah, he's got some Widow Mines, starting a bunker now as well. And I think he wants to go into tanks. I think I saw a tech lab here on that one factory being added on, but yeah, those Phoenixes kind of tanking some of the Widow Mine damage. The Oracle's gonna fly into the main base. Is there even anything there? No!
Oh, there's a lot of SCVs are about to die here, and that's kind of what I was worried about here for TY. More Oracle beam damage here. TY against the ropes in the early stages of this game, down to 32 workers.
He does have the third command center to try and catch back up and adding on additional barracks now as well. Steam pack about halfway through done. We got Forge and Twilight Council about to finish here for Neeb, as well as the third base halfway. Does he go for charge, or is it Glaives? He goes back to the one upgrade that kind of helped him win the first game very well, which is Glaives.
And this time he's not going to cancel it and get charged instead, as you see, dumped the Chrono Boost on top of it, so he's committed to it now. Oracle's coming back for some more SCV damage. There's a turret this time, though. And TY doesn't want to saturate that gas just yet. It's not safe, not safe. But things are starting to slow down a little bit. I'm pleased to see that this game is going to continue, as TY looked a little shaky there. Got the bunker up just in time, turrets up just in time. Managed to get that tech lab out, a couple tanks. He's getting those upgrades for his bio units. So just going into bio tank here. Stim finishing up combat shield immediately after, I'm sure. And,
the gases have been taken very late on the expansion for TY, by the way.
Well, it prioritizes... yeah, he has that third base in the main, and he might just want to spend that minerals on just getting like a lot of Marines. Marauders are 100 minerals apiece, so getting a lot of SCVs out would be nice. Turret finishes just in time. Might get this Oracle. Ooh. Lives with 2 hit points.
Another
TvP.
Another sight that we've seen in the past.
Yeah, happened in game 1. That's Neeb just sending a force out here with a couple Oracles still alive. The Warp Prism here as well, so it looks like he wants to warp in and try and put the hurt on TY as he heads towards his third base.
Yeah, Dep's actually already gonna have +1 ground weapons as well, which is a big deal. They take out SCVs very, very quickly. Scanned, actually, TY just scanned the third base of Neeb and he saw the saturation. He can't be too happy with it because that's already a lot of probes there.
Certainly is. TY does not have coverage on the left side of this main, but the Warp Prism is within vision here of the factory, so TY's going to have to bring a lot of units in. It looks like he had a big stim on these units to come in from the natural, and he's going to have to try and deal with these adepts, but meanwhile, the natural is open for Neeb to attack into as well. That Shade is going to go on these tanks and try and pick them off.
Wow, the Widow Mines are going to trigger from that as well. He can force field the units away into the main base, but there is Medivacs that can pick up those units.
Yeah, but there's only so much space for these Medivacs to take in that army piecemeal, and all needs to be down here, right now. And meanwhile, that leaves them open to the Warp Prism to come back in again, which is still alive in the top left corner of the map, by the way.
Yeah, just not quite using it just yet. Recalls on out of there after killing some more SCVs. 39 walkers to 63 now. So you can expect Neeb's production to just be absolutely insane here in the next few minutes.
Yeah, it's not looking great for TY, I gotta say. You know, he has that third command center, but I haven't seen him make any SCVs in quite a while here. He's just been making units. So, you know, Neeb's going for another warp in here. 4 more Adepts going to that Warp Prism next to the main base. TY trying to get some turrets up, but they're not up in time.
Yeah, Neeb so solid throughout this series. Had a tough game number 2, but if he wins here, he will be taking out a semi-finalist from last year in TY. And his reward will be Maru.
Yeah. It'd be a nice rematch for Neeb. You know, he's been beaten up by Maru in GSL before, and I'm sure he'd love to get some revenge here on the biggest tournament of the year for StarCraft 2. Disruptor Nest getting dropped again, as does the Ghost Academy. So Ghost's not amazing against the tech that Neeb is showing us here, but can be quite nice against dealing with big balls of Adepts and big balls of Stalkers as well. This Warp Prism not being able to find that opening, the turret's up as well, so little rough for this Prism to find that opening, and there's that first Disruptor here from Neeb, getting up into that very powerful unit here in this matchup.
Yeah, second Robo on the way as well to make many of these. He scans. I think TY might be trying to find out whether what kind of tech it is. I mean, last game we had Charge Lots and Archons, which obviously Ghosts are very good against, not so much against Disruptors, but he's making 3 Ghosts. That kind of, you know, reminds me of like when Terrence used to make 3 Ghosts and then do a big push. Obviously, back then they pull SCVs and it was an all-in. Now, I think not so much anymore. I wonder if TY means to attack with this, or if he will slow things down and kind of sit back, keep on expanding, and hey, some battle cruisers maybe?
Shout out to that creative match, that was pretty good. I actually think you're right. I think that it actually is going to be a big push from TY with those Ghosts. There's no armory or anything like that, so it's just looking like that 1-1's going to finish, and he's not going to have any 2-2 for a while. So he's going to come in and try and hit with a 1-1 timing attack. Meanwhile, Neeb almost has plus to attack. He's got Stasis Wards and a lot of units, including Disruptors here. So this is going to be tough for TY to pull off.
Yeah, one of these Disruptor shots here landed a little bit. Widow Mine as well. TY, actually, he steamed a while back. He's going to have to steam again here in a second.
Oh,
the
man.
force field bio units.
Force field bio units, and also half of his army, or rather a third of his army to the top here, got stasis warded. Neeb is having to give up some ground, though. There was a nice EMP landed on the ball of Protoss there, so the sentries got covered. A lot of the Stalkers got softened up as well as the Adepts. So TY has a chance here with his upgrades finishing up. More and more Disruptors coming in to engage, though. Nice times disrupting over there from Neeb, catching them as soon as they come out of stasis. For all you guys at home may not be aware, the stasis keeps the units safe as well as locked in place. And Neeb timed that out perfectly. And this Adept harass as well, finding more SCV damage. TY caught between a rock and a hard place here.
Yeah, supply is plummeting here. TY is trying to retreat back home. Neeb is on the chase here, at least was for a little bit, trying to catch some of those units. He's got so many disruptors now that he can actually just kind of sit there and spam those Purification Novas to try and kill as much as he can. Whoa, he actually shaded.
Yeah,
I didn't expect
a lot
that.
of dead SCVs, man. Why not? Oh, this Nova gets like 5 Marines and a Marauder there. TY just cannot find a good engagement in this game. He's trying to hold on to the natural, but even the Adepts might win here. They're so close. They got a +2 attack, +2 armor on the way. They shaded to the natural, continuing to do more and more SCV damage. That Widow Mine got the Adepts, but he kills too many SCVs, and Neeb starts Group A off with a 2-1 victory over TY. Oh my God, what a great series here for the WCS champion 3 times in 2017. And boy, did he step it up at the end of the year here in 2018. Neeb looking great off the bat.
Just so solid, mixing in different styles in all of those games, trying for the charge lot last game, and this time adjusting, going Glaives into Disruptor. That worked out perfectly against the Ghost, and he's pretty pleased with himself, safe to say.
Absolutely. What a series. Let's go to the couch with Kolaris and the boys to talk about that one.
That's right. Thank you very much. And overall, Neeb taking that 2-1 victory in the end. Great stuff coming out from Neeb, getting his revenge from that GSL loss that he incurred just a little bit before. And it's a brilliant start to his campaign here for the Global Finals.
Well, I mean, you beat TY, who's a GSL finalist. You know, it's a tough group. We've been over that. But, you know, Neeb, he had a close series there, and he had a close series here. And I got to say, he's looking in form right now.
He's looking really good. Again, he's not out of the woods yet, but I think he's gotten over his first hump, right? I mean, the fact that he played that well, he looked really confident. He adapted brilliantly. I'm excited to see how Neeb does going on through this group.
Love the start here for Neeb, but this is one of those moments where I guess we shouldn't get too far out of ourselves yet, because the winners match is against Maru.
Sure.
You never know how it goes, but I mean, what a way to start, right?
I mean, even his reactions just kind of throughout the majority of the series, very well kind of thought out, I think.
It was a little wild and wonky, though, I think.
Sure.
I mean, that first game, I rarely see 2 Oracles just fly into the main base. I think the Hellion defense was beautiful, but then he just almost killed, I think it was like 16 SCVs. I was like, that doesn't happen very often. Game 2, we're playing the guessing game in the green room, so what is this? It's like just a Reaper? Reaper's a battle nesting plan. Why is he proxying a Reaper? He's like, Ghost Academy. We're like, what? And I'm sure that Neeb was like, what? You know?
Well, especially when he went to make the pylon. He's like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
Are you going Marauders? No, a Ghost comes out.
But I mean, definitely
okay.
well adjusted, like you said. And I think especially the last game, that was a beautiful hold against all those Cyclones and Marines, especially with Widow Mine sprinkled in the mix there. That's very annoying because you want to fly in with Phoenixes and Oracles, but you can't because then the mines connect. So the last game was definitely the one that I'm most convinced by.
I mean, thinking critically for a moment here, when it was game 2, you're a Neeb, you've scouted out that Ghost barracks that's kind of putting on pressure. You're able to deal with it quickly and methodically. From there, you don't actually win out that game. What was really kind of hindering him in that game?
Oh, gosh. You know, that game was kind of weird, wasn't it? Like losing the third. And you were saying that you... Oh, wait, no. Pig was saying he thought he should just retake the third immediately in that game. I don't know. It didn't feel like that was a situation where I was going to let you play that easily, right?
Yeah, I think at that point, things were already not that good for Neeb anymore. This was one of the moments where Neeb could have just gone for a 1-gate fast expand. If he would have done that, he would have been incredibly far ahead. And I think even after he picked off the first goals, he could have just expanded immediately. But yeah, over time, the Banshees did a little bit of damage. He was out of position a few times. It was a well-played game by TY, but overall very weird. Because if Neeb rolls the dice and is like, I'm not worried about the proxy, we'll go 1-gate fast expand. I mean, then I don't ever see him lose there.
Well, guys, I'm going to talk to you more in a second as we are now ready. We'll go over to Hajison, who is with our winner, Neeb.
Thank you very much, James. I'm here with Neeb. Congratulations, what a series you won against TY, and you actually lost against him in the GSL. So were you kind of nervous coming to this match?
I think I played pretty decent in GSL, and I was a bit disappointed that I lost, actually, because I thought I could definitely have won there. So I don't know, like it just feels nice to get revenge.
So what was different here? How you could win this time?
I think I put a lot more pressure on myself in GSL because it was the first time I made it far in GSL. It was actually my first GSL altogether. So, I just felt a lot of pressure, but here I didn't really care. So.
Okay, you're more relaxed here, so that's cool. So let's talk about game 2. So when you saw this Ghost Academy, like, what did you think?
I was really surprised because I actually scouted it with my probe that was going to make a pylon. That's actually really lucky. If I didn't scout it, I would have just lost the game right away. So I scouted it, and I was still behind afterwards. So it's a bit tilting because proxies just always seem to end up with the Terran ahead economically. So it was a hard game, and I really hoped he didn't proxy the last game, but he didn't really. He put it at his own base, so it was in an okay position.
And talking about the last game, it was a really close game. So how were you able to win it and to pull it off?
Well, the last game, he did the cyclone pressure. He pulled a lot of SCVs, actually. I think he might have pulled too many, actually. My micro was a little bit sloppy, but I think I ended up pretty far ahead after that. And my oracles did a bunch of damage in his main. And because his production was so late, I just did another adept timing. And I got really far ahead from that.
And it was great. And now you're going against Maru in the winner's match. And Maru is doing pretty much really well lately. And so how do you feel, and what are you going to do differently this time?
All my games against Maru in the past have been pretty one-sided. So I mainly just want to show games that are at least somewhat close and not just complete stomps. So, I mean, I could win, but it's unlikely. It's more practice for TY or Lambo in the decider match.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Congratulations again. And Clarice, back to you.